How you doing, guys? Welcome back to Invested Intelligence. And so we're not wasting time, just going to get straight into the analysis on Bitcoin, Binance, etc. The level up here, 37,417. This is the rebalance point, right? We've had a really nice month last month, and it is probably going to happen in terms of price grinding higher into that 37,417. Going forward, the pullback's the most important thing. If we just drop down to the weekly, kind of flesh this out a little bit, you can see prices just hovering in this area around about sort of 35 seems to be holding pretty well. In terms of what that looks like on a lower time frame, we'll take a look in a second, but it's not going to take much for Bitcoin to just grind into this area. And then when that happens, it's coming up into an area where there's going to be, a heavy amount of liquidity. So I do feel there will be some distribution up at this, up at this 37,417 level. If that happens, obviously we'll see it. But again, the most important thing right now is to wait for a pullback and then kind of assess that. At least that's what I'm doing anyway. So we just drop down to the hourly chart. I just want to show you what this looks like. So this recent move you can see is just kind of grinding sideways. It did pop a little bit, but then, sideways again. So it is holding in this area. When we look at this, even if we go back up to the weekly chart and you can see this very small area up here, that seems to be holding pretty well. And then you drop down to something like the hourly and you see what that one bar looks like, or that one candle looks like. This is how it's fleshed out. We're not seeing erratic drops or anything like that coming back down to this really, really strong level of 32,000 that it's crossed through. We're seeing price holding a very tight range of around about 34,000 to 35,000, slightly out both sides. So this is really important. This is good. This is showing that Bitcoin is holding, and the expectation is, like I said, that we do grind towards that 37,417 level, and then we should see a little bit of distribution up there. With that said, let's go over to Binance. Now, the one thing about Binance or BNB, and I want to just kind of focus on the monthly chart for a second. I was making a reference to this area here. So this last move about here, and to be honest, that was supposed to be here. But anyway, this last drop right here was around about $144, give or take, 144 points. This move that we're seeing now is roughly around about 50 points, right? So we're not seeing the relative movement that we should be seeing on Binance relative to what's happening with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's really moving ahead. Binance isn't really doing much, right? It's just kind of popped a little bit. It seems great. When you look at it from 200 up to 250, you think, okay, that's a pretty decent move. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not enough for me. It's not enough for me. Coming off these lows, coming off a very strong level of 200, to continue going higher, it should be at least at 280 at this point. We're seeing a very small amount of altcoins just starting to creep in now, just starting to show a little bit of movement. Obviously, XRP is moving a little bit ahead. We've got, even if we just go over to Ethereum, you can see Ethereum still within this broad range consolidation, and not as expanded as expected when it comes to Bitcoin's movement and the correlation between Bitcoin and everything else. The Bitcoin dominance really, when you look at Bitcoin dominance on its own, it just seems to be tearing ahead. When you look at Bitcoin dominance in terms of ripping or pulling the rest of the market with it, we're not really seeing that. So again, something to be mindful of. And also, just to kind of reiterate in terms of Binance, as I've been saying for quite some time, there is a lot going on with Binance, and I don't feel, a pullback on Binance that looks bullish and strong, etc., is not something that I would personally be buying into. Not to say, others won't. That's nothing to do with me. I'm just kind of giving you my opinion. But I think if Binance starts to pull back, at any moment with Binance, we could hear some news, another, issue that they have, another country stops using them, regulation, this, regulation that. And we're starting to see a few cracks here and there in terms of the entire cryptocurrency market, and how that's going. So I personally think, like I said, in terms of focusing on Binance and saying, yep, I will buy, I'm not convinced. I want to see Binance at least below 200 before I'd even consider doing anything with this. And at that point, if Binance does get back down to these levels at 200, it's just reversed a move that in theory it shouldn't really be reversing if the market's bullish. So with all of that said, I want to keep the video short. Hope everyone's having an awesome day or evening wherever you are in the world, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best. Take care. Ciao for now.